It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Thank you for tuning in. Sean Widmer Podcast. It's the end of the week. Let's start the podcast different today. We're going to get to the normal routine to kick the podcast off. I'm sorry if this is a little bit jarring, but we have to call Rob Sacre, former Los Angeles Laker, Sun Rocker, Gonzaga Bulldog. He's not going to answer. I didn't text him. What does that sound? What? Normally it does the... There.
Automatic voice message
Really?
system 337.
I don't want to give his full number out.
81 is not
Uh-oh.
available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished
That's a
recording,
real-
you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Scratchy sound there. Hey, buddy. I was going to call you and get you on the podcast here. My cold, dead body it wasn't all the way cold yet. And you just decided to move on. Love ya. I was just looking for an explanation. All right, buddy. Hope all's going well. Except for your foot. Goodbye. Yeah, my guy Rob... he's already moved on to the new producer of the Jay and Kevin show. I wanted to call him and give him a hard time. I got a bunch of you. Thank you for being fun. Sent me the picture Jay and Kevin had my guy Rob Sacre in studio. He got his picture with producer Steve, and then my phone blew up. I think I probably had 11, 12 messages within the first couple hours of that picture being posted. And they were hilarious. I got some funny messages. People were funny. Brandon, you were funny. You're funny. But Rob was funny. So I wanted to call him and get the full scoop there, as my buddy has moved on to bigger and better fish in a bigger and better lake. Anyhow, that was there you go. There's a phone call to Rob Sacre. His foot is apparently busted up. He blew out his leg doing basketball drills. I wish on my phone, I use my phone to record, so I can't read the text from him, but he said it was like the most basic maneuver he was doing with a drill, and it blew out his Achilles, maybe? Not a good one. Not a good look, Robert. Okay, to podcast today, we are going to discuss something at my new job that I'm hoping trickles into society. Something is gone, and I'm coping with it because this is the second one this year that's going away. I had a message about the USA 3-on-3 team. Hey, I got to give people credit. We've been getting more people leaving comments, and I really appreciate that. Whether it's over at seanslife.com or over on Spotify. It's been really fun. And I haven't even checked the YouTube to see if anyone's left any messages on YouTube. But it's been fun to see some new names, I'll be honest with you. And I love the same olds. But it's been fun. So we'll get to a couple comments today and do that stuff. I wanted to kick the podcast off as we do. If there is a 5-star review on iTunes, you get to kick off the program today. And that one's going to go to Shelly28, who gave the 5-star review. Thank you. And said, happy listener. I've been listening for years. Great podcast. Shelly, thank you. That means a lot. Thank you very much. And thank you for supporting it with the 5-star review. Of course, the podcast, as always, is brought to you by the Patreons of the Sean Widmer Podcast over at patreon.com/Sean Widmer Podcast. A lot of people over there complaining that the trivia was too dang hard. The rent was too dang high. The trivia was too dang hard. And so maybe do we need to dumb it down next week? Let me know. You can go check that out over on our Patreon, patreon.com/Sean Widmer Podcast. Check out this last week's trivia. More coming out on Tuesday. I don't know where I want to start with. I don't know. Do I want to complain right off the bat? Do we complain right off the bat? Let's try to go in order of complaining to being sad to being excited. All right. I'm hoping this isn't a complain cast. Sometimes when I start complaining, everything comes out complaining. I think it might be my tone or something. This has been a lifelong thing where I'm assumed to be complaining even in times when I'm not. But I received a message. It was actually, I'm trying to remember who sent the message. I know Tyler sent me one. I got it on Instagram, and I don't have my phone, so I can't look at who sent it to me. But I was asked about the USA 3-on-3 team. If you've been watching the Olympics have been great. Simone Biles is amazing. Simone Biles is all-time USA. Make a statue of her, put it in the sports area of the U.S. Is there an area in the U.S. where we should just make big statues of sports people, like 1-to-1 statues of sports people, and just scatter them around a big open area? And it's every sport has their Hall of Fame, but this would be like the Statue Hall of Fame for all-time great U.S. athletes. And Simone Biles would need to have one there. She wins gold. That was really cool. And so I've been watching a lot of Olympics, and yes, I've been watching the 3-on-3. And so I had someone reach out who I'll never remember because I don't have my Instagram here handy about whether or not the 3-on-3 team is good. What's wrong with the 3-on-3 team? Because the men's 3-on-3 team, it's either 0-3 or 0-4 after losing yesterday to Latvia. We're undersized. We're undersized, period. That's my assessment of our team, having watched a lot of these 3-on-3 games. We've got an injured Jimmer Fredette. That obviously doesn't help you, but he's 6'2". These guys are all strong, but everyone in the 3-on-3 is strong, okay? He's 6'2", and hurt. Our other guy, Dylan Travis, is 6'3", so that's a little shorter. I'm looking Canyon Barry, 6'6", the best dude on the team right now. Canyon Barry is the only reason I think this team has been in games, it seems like, the ones I've watched. I think Kareem Maddox is our big guy at 6'8". I have not been impressed with Kareem Maddox or Dylan Travis really at all. Obviously, elite level basketball players that whoop my butt. They are phenomenal, but we're comparing him to other athletes in the 3-on-3 tournament, and I just don't think they're that great. I think they're both terrible on defense. I think Dylan Travis, if you watch the Latvia game, didn't play defense. And so you had guys just blow bys. There was a play at the end that Latvia needed a 1 to win it, and Kareem Maddox did it. Basketball 101. They need a 1 to win it. A guy's in the corner, contested, and he pump fakes a corner 3 that doesn't. If it goes, it goes. But I'd rather get beat with a corner 3 than a basket a bucket at the basket. And he pump fakes. And of course, Kareem Maddox falls for it, which again is a youth league basketball mistake. And the guy just blows by. Now it's a 2-on-1 against Dylan Travis, easy bucket for Latvia, and they come back and beat the USA. I just think we're undersized. You watch some of these other games, these other teams, they have extremely tall, very lanky, physical guys. They're not all just, brick walls, but they're all really tall, very, very long, so they can contest at the rim, and we are undersized. We are getting abused by size. So that's my assessment of the USA 3-on-3 team. I think that the 3-on-3, the Olympic, the FIBA 3-on-3 is so entertaining to watch. It's so fast-paced. And we are not going to win the gold. And I don't know what the situation is now, if we can even medal after this many losses. I'm assuming we can't. But we brought a team that wasn't good enough to compete with what the other teams brought to the table. Very good basketball players. I understand some of the theory behind it. You've got Jimmer Fredette, who you're hoping can just dominate with twos. It's 1s and 2s in the FIBA, 1st to 21. So you're hoping he can just dominate with 2s and get a big lead, and now you're in a really good spot, force other teams to shoot 2s. Problem is all these guys are really good at shooting 2s on the other teams. Canyon Barry's been great. Canyon Barry's physical. He's dirty. He's kind of cheap. He's a great shooter. He's a good finisher at the rim. Kareem Maddox does not look like he knows how to finish at the rim, which is weird for our 6'8" guy that we chose to be on our 3-on-3 team. And again, Dylan Travis, great shooter. I think terrible defender. Takes some really awkward shots. I understand I'm also analyzing this as someone who's never played. I demoed the FIBA 3-on-3 when they came to Hoop Fest one time, but I never have played like a FIBA game. A lot of these games, so I don't really understand it. Maybe some of these shots that Dylan Travis is forcing up are because of the quick shot clock. It doesn't seem right. So I was bummed out by that. I really wanted them to do well. Obviously, they're USA, but there you go. Okay, so that's a little bit of complaining right there. Let's complain about social media. The new trend that is all over, at least my timeline, maybe it's not even a new trend, but I feel like it's made a comeback. I don't need a picture of you to know that it's you when you say great day grilling, and then it's a selfie of yourself, and maybe you have like the tongs in your hand. I know it's you. I can see who posted it. We are heading back into weird reasons to post a selfie mode when the caption should just be, hey, Need to take a picture of myself. I've never understood the whole selfie game really, but it's back. And my timeline, I don't know if maybe my timeline caught me being angry at one. And so now my algorithm is just force feeding me these to keep me irritated. But there was one the other day and it was like, oh, what the heck was it? Some gal took a selfie of herself and the comment was the dumbest thing. It was like, new outfit day, and it was only a picture of like her face pretty much, and like her doing like some kind of weird crazy eyes. And I'm like, yeah, we knew it was you who posted. You didn't need to post your face. I know you. I know what you look like. This didn't help me any. So again, not trying to make this complaining cast, but I'm hoping that selfie trend is going away soon. Thank goodness I haven't seen a lot of the car selfies. Those ones really send me. Car selfies, why do they do it to me? I don't know. I guess there was a time where, I did damage to my Facebook a long time ago when we first started heavily into Facebook with the radio show. We were using our own personal accounts to like share show stuff. So our accounts obviously got very filled up and we had like the cap of 5,000 friends. We all hit that on the show because we were using it to generate content and share content out there. So it wasn't like I had 5,000 friends. It was just people were requesting friendship because I was on the radio and we were doing stuff they wanted to see, obviously, because we're promoting it. And so I got up to 5,000 and then we stopped doing that, created our page when we realized what we were doing, Jay and Kevin Facebook page. And I just cut tons of people. I just dropped like down to 1,000 friends. I was just so irritated because of selfies. I went through and anyone who had posted a selfie in my timeline, I immediately just unfriended. It's so lame. So dumb. I know it's complaining cast, but it's real for me. Get someone else in there. Get a picture. Like get the selfie with someone. I love those ones, but if it's just you and your caption's like pizza night and all I can see is you and I know the pizza, it's almost like you wanted the pizza to take a picture of you. I'm out. Okay, enough. Now it's coming across with a bad look. Okay. What's the next step here? I think it all started with Rob Sacre, by the way. I think I want to be bummed out about something. Game Informer shut down today. It's Friday. It's the 2nd of August, and Game Informer shut down. So this is a video game magazine. 33 years it had been in business. It was the magazine that was the official magazine of GameStop. You know, when I worked at GameStop, it was called Babbage's. There was Electronics Boutique, and we would always try to get people to sign up for Game Informer because we would get little bonuses if we got a certain amount of people to sign up to subscribe to Game Informer. You know, get 12 episodes, 12 articles. What are they even called? 12 episodes? This is how bad I am with magazines now. 12 a year. 12 periodicals a year. And we try to get people to sign up for that. And I had it, and I loved it. We got it at all of the places that I lived. And I loved Game Informer. It was fun. Flip through the Game Informer magazine, get reviews about games, get previews. And I loved having that tangible magazine in the house. And I talked about this a few months ago when Sports Illustrated shut down, how I was going to miss that. But like I said with Sports Illustrated, I sit here today bummed out about it, knowing that I haven't bought a Game Informer, I haven't bought a Sports Illustrated in 6, 7, 8 years. And I'm here like, oh, this is such a sad day. Well, if I wanted that to be different, I could have kept supporting it. Now, the one thing with this and like the one thing with Sports Illustrated, with Game Informer, the thing that bums me out a lot, they had a pretty good online presence. They had a enjoyable podcast. They did a bunch of video stuff. The problem is, I think Game Informer was just known as the periodical, the physical edition of that. And so people weren't going to the web to seek out Game Informer info or Game Informer videos. And the sites that had taken that full steam ahead in the mid 2000s, like IGN, like GameSpot, the companies that did it from the beginning that way, they are going to be the kings of that. And so I think it was really hard for some of the magazines like Game Informer to transition into an online presence, considering we all had our online presence that we went to, all of us gamers. I think that's the same in the sports world, right? Sports Illustrated goes away. And if Sports Illustrated came out and said, look, you should go to our website, sportsillustrated.com, and I would be like, oh man, I'm a sports.yahoo.com or I'm an ESPN.com. They already kind of got my loyalty when it comes to sports articles. Sorry. right? It's tough to do. It's tough to get you when you already have your base in that world of internet. It's hard to like try something else. And it would be hard for, it'd be hard for IGN to come out with, all of a sudden come out with a magazine right now. I think they already had one, but let's say they came out with a magazine right now and Game Informer was still going and they're like, get our magazine. I'd be like, well, Game Informer has my magazine loyalties. It's hard to switch that up. But I'm just bummed as another magazine goes away. I'm just realizing that's a thing that's a thing of the past. And I'm only thinking that because of nostalgia, right? I understand it from a business standpoint. In 2024, I haven't bought a magazine in a decade, right? 6-7 years. And so I get it. But part of me growing up loving them is just bummed out about it. I think we're allowed to be bummed out about it. You can understand change and you can accept change, but it doesn't mean that you can't, be bummed about it. I liked the time I grew up when there was magazines all over the place. Okay, before we get into Kelly's What Are You Into, I wanted to give a shout out to my work. I had I've got some training stuff under my belt, a orientation under my belt. I learned a lot, and one of the things I learned, my work must have been listening to the podcast, because one of the big things that I've preached over the years is how I wish America would instill what I call the DER, the driver efficiency ratings. I've wanted this forever, decades. This dates back to when I was doing the sports show in the 2000s, when I was doing the Spokane Sports Show. And I talked about driver efficiency ratings. I want there to be something in the United States that monitors every single driver, and it gives you a score. And if you score very well, you get rewarded for that. And if you score very poorly, you're out. You're suspended from driving for a day or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or a week or multiple weeks or forever. Like it keeps track of your driver efficiency rating. And then there's, again, consequences and rewards based on that. And I think that would be super beneficial, right? If you drive too fast, oh no, that could be me sometimes. Driver efficiency rating score goes down. If you drive like a complete lunatic and you can't find your gas pedal and you're going 1 mile per hour, confused because you don't know where you're going, you get docked real badly on your driver efficiency rating. Okay? Try to speed up and like cut in front of somebody to get off on a intersect. Look, I'm just doing things that are near and dear to me in the last week. If you do these things right, it affects you. We have that at my new job. They have little devices that monitor everything. Your speed, how sharp you're turning, braking, that's 3 things. But it monitors a ton of the stuff. And so it spits out to our company how well you're driving. And when they told us this today in this meeting, I was like, you have the DER, you have driver efficiency ratings here. This is the best thing in the world. I want access to the scoreboard, because that's another thing I want, is I want to make sure there is an app that goes with driver efficiency ratings that I can look in my neighborhood and know, ooh, in my neighborhood, I'm top 3 driver. Ooh, in my county, in my city, I'm top 20. Are you kidding? In my county, I want scoreboards. I want scoreboards on scoreboards that also will make people want to be better drivers. You don't show the bottom tier, because then people will want to be the worst. You get to only see the top, and you try to claw your way up into the top. And then again, you get good stuff. So my work has driver efficiency ratings. Maybe it's the beta version of it, but whoever's listening to the podcast there, thank you so much. And look, I don't need any money from it. I would love some, since someone stole my idea. But, at least like give me a little credit on it, Put my name in the credits. Can we do Kelly's What Are You Into? Let's nerd out.
Kelly's What Are You Into?
Oh, it's back in my life. It's back in my blood. Oh, thank goodness. Late last night. My buddy Mike came over way too late for this. We had, we were doing stuff until late, and we busted out Frosthaven. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The best board game of all time is Gloomhaven. It's the second game in its series is Frosthaven. They're the biggest board games you're going to see. They're like 30 pounds in a box. They're very nerdy. They're a dungeon crawling game where you get a character and you go through a story in a game, and it's it's high strategy combat, very high strategy. It's all about all of your moves and attacks are on these deck of cards that you get, And it's just very strategic how you use them and make sure you have enough of them to survive a scenario and all this. It's a great game. Anyways, Mike and I wanted to get back into it. And last night we played a round of it to kind of remember how the rules go. Well, we started it super late and didn't end until almost 2 o'clock in the morning, which is too late for me to be staying up. But we knew we had to have a sacrificial night to remember how the rules go. So next time we play, it will be fluid. It's the most fun. It's the most fun. And I'm sucked all the way back in. It's all I could think about this morning. I listened to YouTube videos on my drive, kind of reminding me of some of the rules. It's just great. And if there's any part of you that is into like a nerdy, strategical, story-driven combat game, Gloomhaven is the one to start with. Frosthaven's next. They're not cheap, but you're going to get probably 100 to 200 hours worth of gameplay out of it. So you get a lot of bang for your buck, even though it's not expensive. It pays itself off with how much it gives you. It's the best, man. I love it. Okay, so shout out to Frosthaven. Glad to be back in it. Let us read some comments, shall we? All right, Ian said this. This is over on Sean'sLife.com. Good to hear from you, Ian. Video games, I'd like to start over. Okay, here you go. I love this. We got a lot of people sending me. Again, I needed to write down my Instagram stuff. I had the comment about the 3-on-3 team that I'm not going to give credit to, and I had a bunch of people send in the 5 shows they wish they could rewatch for the first time, and I don't have them. But Ian said this: video games, I'd like to start over. Golden Sun Saga, Destiny, all 10 years of that journey, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Ghost of Tsushima, and Pokemon Blue. Yes, time and place for Pokemon Blue. And then he has TV shows. TV shows, How I Met Your Mother, Rules of Engagement. I've never seen that show. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Robin Warriors, and Rick and Morty. Dude, I've only heard of How I Met Your Mother. I've heard of Rules of Engagement and Rick and Morty. I've never seen Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I've never seen Robin Warriors. That's going to give me something to do a little Google search on there. Ian, thank you for that. Also, the Destiny deal with the video games. Whew, I get that. Right? You've dropped 10 years into that. That's a fun journey. If you're in on something that long, that's been a fun journey. I understand wanting to start that over. Great one. Great one, Ian. Love that. Ron said this: my top 5 TV shows I wish I could rewatch for the first time. Let's see how many of these ones I know. Ron said, number 5, The Twilight Zone, 6 Feet Under, Better Call Saul, Lost, Twin Peaks. I got a lot of love on Lost. A lot of people who watched Lost understand that journey, even though it maybe ended poorly. That was an unbelievable journey. Unbelievable. Twilight Zone, I've seen a couple episodes of. 6 Feet Under, never seen it, heard it's awesome. Better Call Saul, haven't watched it, heard it's awesome. Loved Breaking Bad. Lost, loved it. And then Ron, Twin Peaks, another show I've heard so much about. So many people I love who have good opinions say Twin Peaks is great. I haven't seen it. So thank you for those. That's a great list right there because it's got some shows on there I need to remember when I'm going, well, what should I watch? Yvonne said this over on Spotify: 5 shows to relive, not in any order. Okay, let's see what she's got. Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, the original Battlestar Galactica. There we go. There we go, Yvonne. NYPD Blues, Cagney and Lacey. Okay, so my mom loved Laverne and Shirley, and she and I would watch that when I was really little, probably 3 or 4 years old. It's one of my very first memories is living on a farmhouse before we moved to Venezuela, living on a farmhouse in Sprague, Washington. And my mom would watch Laverne and Shirley and do laundry. And it's one of my very first memories. And I love it. Happy Days, I've seen it on Nick at Night. Awesome. Loved Battlestar Galactica, Yvonne. Haven't seen an episode of NYPD Blue. And I've never even heard of Cagney and Lacey, so another show for me to Google. One last comment. It didn't have to do with TV. It came from Rick, and it said this: been fun to see you do the podcast on YouTube, but why do you only own one hat? That's, we can dive into my insecurities. I wear a hat because I hate that I'm bald. So I hate that, which has been the weirdest part of my work. If you know me, you know I've worn a hat every day forever, right? Forever. This dated back to when I had hair. Since probably junior high, I love hats. I've always worn a hat. It's probably why I'm bald. And every job I've had, I've worn hats. This is a first job I've had where I don't get to wear a hat. It's been so weird. It's been so weird. It's like I don't have if you're a baby and you've got your pacifier or your comfort blanket or your stuffy, it's like I'm losing a key part of my personality when I go to work. And I'm like, I feel older without my hat on. It's just a weird vibe. And it's like all these people just know me now as a guy who shows up to work balding without a hat. And I'm like, you guys, I am hat guy with t-shirt and shorts. That's who I am. It's weird. It's a weird feeling with the coworkers knowing that the guy they know is not even close to the guy. I mean, personality wise, I'm still trying to bring the same personality, but in terms of like all of me, it's not even close to what shows up to work, which is so weird. So weird. I'm more positive there, right? I complain here. I'm more positive over there at work. Thank you, Rick, for diving into my insecurities. If you would like to comment on the podcast, get your comments read on Monday, you can do it over at seanslife.com. You can do it if you listen on Spotify, or you can comment on the YouTube video. Thank you for listening. Much love. And again, for the trivia people, was it too hard? You can check the trivia out over on the Patreon, patreon.com/Sean Widmer podcast. Or is that the kind of level we want where you don't get them all? Maybe you learn something? Or do you want me to do 21 of the easiest questions so everyone gets 21 right and we all have a great day? And I'll see you at the polls, and have a great day. Shout out Basil Marceau.